Hi there. My name is Ralph Beard. I am with the Auburn University Tribology minor as one of our advisory board members, and I'm here today to give the same presentation that was given at NLGI's annual meeting June 16, 2014. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. First, let's thank the good people that sponsored my being the speaker today, Afton Chemical and Functional Products. I would also like to thank my employer, Dorf-Catal Chemicals. Dorf-Catal's commitment to the grease and lubricant industry made it easy for me to become a part of their team last year after so many wonderful and stimulating years in this business. Having made friends with so many of you over these years is a big part of what makes this industry very special to me. Because of that, I am humbled and honored to speak to you today about something we can all take pride in, something all of us, our industry, has long needed, the minor in Tribology and Lubrication Sciences at Auburn University. We will talk a little history. We will see the Auburn program from its startup through its development, and I believe, look into its future, our future. A future with sustainable and planned educational platforms for this industry and all things related to lubrication. Speaking of lubrication, there's certainly a lubrication theme right here in this cartoon from BC. Now, folks like us see more humor in this than does the rest of the world. Accountants, secretaries, or lawyers may not see the subtlety, but losing one's bearings is certainly not a good thing, be it mechanical or directional. The cartoon also seems to point to a lack of planning as well. For example, I don't see a canteen no matter how many times I look for it. All right, let's leave BC's historical contribution to lubrication, and we'll talk more about the recent history of our industry. There was significant lubrication and related training within major oil companies leading up to the mid-70s. It was directed toward their commercial business groups, and you could actually see yourself becoming a senior technical service engineer. That guru culture was passed on by individuals in months and even years of training regimes. Each major oil company had their own technical interface with OEMs, and these highly trained and experienced lubrication engineers were the instructors of each major's own lubrication courses. However, by the mid-70s, with the threat of maintaining supply for their refineries to mostly support their light ends fuels business, most majors moved to secondary distribution channels instead of having a field force of lubricant experts out in the field. A few independent lubricant companies stepped in to try and fill in the gaps with their own training as best they could. Otherwise, it was pretty well down to getting the simplest form of lubricant technical and business understanding before you were out trying to explain why automatic transmission fluid is red. Well, maybe the color thing is an extreme example, but it's not far from fact. By the mid-70s, this structured immersion type of training that covered mechanics, chemistry, physics, and the commercial aspects of lubrication by the majors was pretty well a thing of the past. NLGI, and particularly STLE, had stepped up with their training programs at their annual meetings. This helped. As the last generation of formally trained lubricant experts began to retire from their jobs, some launched private fee-based training courses in lubrication, or as it was now starting to be referred to as tribology. Ultimately, some of these evolved into internet-based training modules. Traditionally, academia has played a role and should not be ignored. Mostly directly toward research grants and primarily for postgraduate candidates, this has been the traditional education pathway here in the U.S. A graduate with a master's degree or even a PhD in tribology has been the only real option available to companies wanting to hire someone who understands lubrication right out of college. The reality is that a student with a PhD in tribology is actually very likely to stay in academia rather than enter our industry anyway. At the end of the day, Even with elements of industry, our trade associations, and selected academic interests that support levels of education with our industry, there has been something missing in the minds of many of us, especially those of us who are old enough to remember the type of extensive, career-building education efforts that tied the mechanical and commercial sides of our industry with the chemistry as it did in the past. As we consider the evolution of formal education in tribology here in the U.S., it brings up an interesting question. I'd like to poll all of you here today, if I may, and trust me, this is a good exercise. If you went to college and received your education with a plan or idea that you would have a specific career somewhere in the lubrication field, I would like you to raise your hand. As I can see, there are no hands raised. I'm still batting 1,000. Now, would a convention of accountants, nurses, or lawyers have so few or any hands raised? Of course not. Why is our industry less important? Why have we not been afforded the same educational options and pathways that a young person going into other fields have? Think about that for a moment. Did we lose our bearings? Our industry deserves better. Where we are today is the platform to bring something about that is better. In the spring of 2009, things changed. The Auburn Tribology program was actually conceived at the 2009 STLE meeting. Running into Dr. Robert Jackson, a mechanical engineering professor at Auburn, started the creative juices flowing of two Auburn alumni, myself and Parker Sizemore. Parker being a young, energetic chemical engineering graduate that I had recently hired. This introduction turned out to be fortuitous as it led to subsequent meetings over the next several months. Those meetings led to crafting a model, but would the model fly? An informal presentation to STLE's executive board in 2010 was met with interest. STLE's leaders encouraged us to let them know when the program became official. We had found the interest that gave us confidence. But, like the story of the chicken and the pig, in terms of respective participation at breakfast, there was about to be demonstrated a big difference. As many of you know, the chicken, by contributing the egg to the breakfast plate, is involved and participates. But the pig, well, the pig is definitely committed. However, 1 month later, after the STLE meeting, at the NLGI annual meeting in Bonita Springs, Florida, that same simple presentation to NLGI's executive committee highlighted that difference. I was invited to have a broader discussion with the full board of directors later that same day. Our idea of creating the Auburn Tribology program was met with enthusiasm, support, and complete commitment. Your leadership was on board and ready to help in any way possible, right then and there. While the idea may have been conceived in May of 2009, the Auburn Tribology program was actually born that June Saturday, just a little over 1 year later. As far as I am concerned, NLGI helped deliver the baby and sign the birth certificate. Later that fall and in the spring of 2011, ILMA had a chance to see the now evolving concept at Auburn and started their wheels moving in support. Behind the scenes activities over the next year and a half were critical in assuring that the concept would be successful. The minor's multidisciplinary nature required across-the-board buy-in from essentially 3 separate colleges within the university: engineering, College of Science and Math, and even also business. As the program was taking shape, we wanted feedback from key industry people who were early supporters of the concept. Their input during the evolutionary process was invaluable. People that are here in the room at this conference, such as NLGI's current and past president, Chuck Coe and Barbara Belanti, David Turner and other NLGI board members, good friends like Doug Church at Elco and Tom Payne of King Industries. Others, too numerous to mention, both here today and some who aren't here, were both guiding lights and true champions with their insight and encouragement. The establishment of our own Industry Advisory Council even before the minor's formal approval from the university, proved to be very pivotal. Auburn took notice that the industry wanted their help. Auburn responded. From that day forth, in February of 2012 on, Auburn is tied to tribology, and tribology is now and will be a part of Auburn University and its future. The tribology minor curriculum at Auburn requires a minimum of 15 semester hours, consisting of 3 core courses and a series of elective options, as you can see on this slide. One of the more unique classes in the elective slate is actually a business course. Our students are encouraged to include it within their mix of classes. Doing so provides a commercial perspective that a great many engineering and technical students are not typically exposed to. This course is actually within one of Auburn's other unique minor offerings, Business Engineering Technology. As you can see, any 5 or 6 of these courses over 2 semesters creates a strong platform to begin a career in this industry and with an undergraduate degree. And now I would like to introduce you to Auburn University. Auburn is a public university that is now over 150 years old. Its designated status as an official land, sea, and space grant university helps position it into one of the most respected technical universities in the U.S. and certainly the South. Auburn also continually ranks among the best values for a top-tier public education in America. Auburn has a large faculty and supporting infrastructure. Over the entire university and its 30 designated centers for research, in excess of $100 million in grants are generated each year. Auburn is designated as the comprehensive research university for the state of Alabama. Auburn's student body, both undergraduate and graduate, come from all over the globe for a world-class education. Our undergraduate programs in engineering, a variety of sciences, as well as an expanded liberal arts curricula, prepare Auburn graduates for careers in all facets of the global economy. Auburn's postgraduate programs continually rank among the highest in the country, particularly in engineering, MBA, and veterinary science. Auburn's College of Engineering is renowned within technical circles, not only in the U.S., but around the world. Students from 37 countries outside the USA are enrolled in the School of Engineering. Currently, 4,300 undergraduate and 900 graduate students are working on their engineering degrees from Auburn. Auburn University is rich in tradition. We claim our place in history, in academics, and athletics. Our aerospace program has spawned 6 astronauts. John Heisman coached early Auburn football teams. We refer to ourselves as the Auburn family, not just a nation or just even fans. Our traditions, both athletic and academic, help us prepare for the future. In looking to this future, I would like you to hear from Dr. Chris Roberts, the Dean of the Samuel Ginn College of Engineering.
I'm really pleased that you're having the opportunity to learn about our tribology program at Auburn University, in particular our tribology minor that's being led by Dr. Jackson. This is exactly the kind of program that we've been trying to craft at Auburn that leverages that practical application with applied fundamentals underneath that. We've had a rich history of being able to develop programs like this at Auburn that have been in response to industrial needs. And that's exactly how this program came about. It came about because of industrial needs that required some fundamentals related to tribology and basic lubrication sciences and engineering. Dr. Jackson and his team have put together a fantastic program that's now attracting students who are minoring from many different disciplines, but minoring in this tribology program. We've had a rich history of developing minors that complement our traditional engineering majors that are in direct response to industrial needs. For example, our minor in automotive manufacturing, our minor in nuclear power generation systems are examples that are in concert with this program in tribology that allows students to pursue degrees in a multitude of different disciplines but understand the fundamental needs of this industry. It's important to note that this is just the beginning. There are tremendous opportunities for us to grow this even further, to even better reach the needs of the industry, and that we feel we can do this at Auburn.
Imagine, just a few years from now, if new people coming into our industry could have a full degree, an actual major in tribology and lubrication science. What would that mean to this industry? And then after that, perhaps even having a specific focus within that tribology major, such as a student having a minor in grease technology. We can certainly all dream, can't we? Chris also talked about leadership. Auburn has been tapped as the lead university for a new program driven by the National Science Foundation. It is officially known as the Southern Alliance for Advanced Vehicle Manufacturing. Eventually, this will be a consortium of universities throughout the Southeast that are linked together to support all things related to vehicle technology and manufacturing. The tribology program at Auburn is poised to become a synergistic and an integral part of this new and important major center. Why is Auburn at the center of this significant initiative? Aside from Auburn's various engineering platforms, the regional shift to the south and resultant growth of vehicle-related production and R&D activities is significant over the past 20 years. NSF defines a vehicle as any system that transports people or products from one point to another. As this slide shows, the region is populated by some of the world's most prestigious companies involved in vehicular technology, from aerospace to heavy-duty equipment. The annual economic impact of this relatively new and still growing southern vehicle infrastructure is roughly $100 billion to the region. In Alabama alone, in less than 20 years, we have grown from almost having zero impact in automotive manufacturing and associated parts production to where we are now. We are now consistently in the top 5 automobile and component producing states in the country. The array of secondary and tertiary suppliers supporting 2 Hyundai Motors production sites, less than 90 miles apart in Montgomery and just over the border into Georgia, is just an example of Alabama as an automotive center. Auburn University is strategically positioned right in the middle of these 2 facilities. Along with the strategic and geographical position of Auburn as the lead university in this alliance, the concept of this program closely emulates the tribology minor and how it has evolved. Take a look at the stated primary goals regarding such an industry university cooperative research center as defined by NSF. First, to secure university and industry partnerships that will generate more education and research integration. And furthermore, it is to advance the overall and collective understanding of a specific industry. For our industry and all industries that depend on lubrication, this last goal can and will be accomplished as we fill the pipeline with significantly trained and degreed young people. By their choosing a tribology education, our graduates already have a head start in advancing all things related to lubrication. The Auburn Tribology program and the people that make it happen, starting with Dr. Jackson, are beginning to have such an impact. I would like to introduce you here today to my friend, Dr. Robert Jackson. When I first met Rob, I knew that he had a PhD in mechanical engineering and taught at my alma mater, Auburn University. I knew that he had received his degrees and the great background that he had from Georgia Tech, which is one of the main historical postgraduate tribology universities in this country. I knew that he was already active, even as a young professor in STLE, and found out shortly thereafter how much he was involved in ASME as well. I could go on and on about Rob and what he sees as the future of the tribology program. But then on the other hand, Rob can do it better himself.
So we started the tribology minor based on a need that was expressed from industry And there's a need because there's an aging workforce and there's no other program existing that gives undergrads a background in tribology. We're the only undergraduate tribology minor in the Western world right now. So we're very excited about this minor. We're very unique in that we're not just focused on research, we're focused on educating students so they can join the workforce very quickly once they graduate. We started in 2012, and as of now we have 16 students. We've grown very quickly with the support from industry and people like you. In creating the minor, we have successfully bridged between different multidisciplinary fields that are traditionally been separated by academic silos, such as materials engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, and also going over into disciplines outside of engineering, such as chemistry and physics. It's very important that this minor be successful, not just for Auburn University, but for the lubrication industry, which has supported tribology science and research. We're very grateful to NLGI and other organizations for their support of the minor. We would not be where we are right now without this kind of support and continued support in the future.
One of the things that Rob pointed out was the aging workforce within our industry. Well, I'd rather not be reminded of that, but then again, there are some advantages that would come with what we would call seasoning, as we will see with the next very important component of the tribology minor. We have a strong and, yes, somewhat seasoned industry advisory council. The idea from the beginning of the planning stages of the program was to provide leadership from a broad mix of people that could contribute their time, talent, and vision to the program. We wanted people who were ready to give back to this industry, and I'm extremely proud to say that we have more than met that goal. The diversity of the advisory board provides a strong cross-section of overall tribology and lubrication experiences along with leadership. As an example, Dr. Hunter is the new president of STLE, and Dr. Kenner serves on STLE's board. You may recall that Brian Johnson gave the NLGI industry speech at this same time last year to this convention. Our members have lubrication expertise in technical, commercial, and operation sides of our industry. This diversity is demonstrated by having both supply side and lubricant user backgrounds. Both Brian and Mike Johnson, though they are not related, both have unique viewpoints from years of user and predictive maintenance understanding of lubrication issues. Be it automotive or industrial, grease or liquid, supplier or consumer, our advisory board with over 200 years of lubrication experience plays an integral role in supporting, channeling, and being the program's interface back to our industry. Those of you on the advisory board that are here today, would you please stand to be acknowledged? One of the areas that the Advisory Council has been most active in has been to secure outside speakers for our students. In some cases, our board members themselves have provided students with timely and diverse tribology-related seminars. As you can see from this slide, student attendance has been high, including one particular presentation that was held at 5 p.m. on a Friday prior to a home football game that still had over 50 students, though, in the auditorium. We won't drill too deep into how many of those seminars old Ralph would have attended. Last October, one of our board members stepped up to the plate and created a unique topic. Dr. Larry Beavers' seminar, The Business of Chemistry, on the surface certainly does not look like an engineering or even tribology-related talk. However, when he finished, his presentation had been attended by over 40 energetic students plus additional faculty. It also helped develop an even stronger strategic position to attract a cross-section of students into the tribology program from outside of pure engineering disciplines, which was one of our goals. The tribology minor and program is exactly like the field that it covers, multidisciplinary. Early seminars attracted many students to hear topics related to this unique and not yet fully understood discipline. As expected at first, most were getting their degrees in mechanical engineering. This made perfect sense since Dr. Jackson and the minor are officially within the Department of Mechanical Engineering. We knew, though, that our student mix of these seminars needed to be changed. Our outreach across campus into chemistry and other departments began well before Dr. Beavers' lecture last October. A special emphasis was placed on attracting more chemistry and chemical engineering students into the program. As you can see, our goal was met by having 3/4 of the students attending his presentation come from other disciplines and over 1/3 from chemical-related degree paths. Today, the minor has, in less than 2 years, already achieved a level of diversity in terms of students and a mix of degree pathways. Going forward, we expect other group of students from physics, bioscience, and even business to formally enter the minor. We are expecting a growth influence of chemistry students as we continue to work closely with that department as more of their students begin taking advantage of available scholarship and internship opportunities. Our growth in numbers has been steady, as you can see. We are looking to have a minimum of 20 students officially enrolled in the minor by this time next year. As we attract more students, we must continue to reach out to industry for support. Showcasing the program has been a great way to achieve this. This past March, we held an industry open house for the second year in a row. Corporate and industry leaders came to see the tribology program firsthand. Like our first open house in 2013, this year's event was highly successful. By all measurements, from new internships offered, helping students link with prospective future employers, and generating further corporate commitment, we are advancing the minor. Everyone here should recognize that without financial support, the open house would have been difficult to produce. In recognizing the minor's importance to our industry, NLGI, ILMA, and a longtime friend of the program, AMRRI, stepped up to the plate and provided the financial support we needed to ensure the day's success and a worthwhile experience for all our guests. Once again, the success of the open house validated a broad base of industry support and encouragement to expand the program. We will continue to do just that, and we thank this year's sponsors, as well as those who attended. Here are some of our industry attendees and students at the open house. To say the least, it looks like an auspicious group. If you are here today and are in this picture, please let others that couldn't make it know just what they missed. We are looking forward to hosting many of you again as returning attendees and also newcomers to our third industry open house sometime in the spring of 2015. NLGI's very own Jim Hunt attended the open house and met with Tim Hall, the first ever recipient of NLGI's earmarked scholarship specifically for Auburn tribology students. Let's see what Tim has to say.
My name is Tim Hall, and this December I'll be graduating from Auburn University with a major in mechanical engineering and a minor in tribology. This past year I received a Tribology Scholarship from NLGI. I just wanted to take a little time to thank NLGI for the generous scholarship. It's only because of scholarships like this that I had the opportunity to attend Auburn University. Also, I'm very thankful that I have the opportunity this summer to be at this conference and to attend the basic grease course. I know that my experience gaining the tribology minor will be instrumental as I begin my career at Georgia Pacific in reliability. And I hope to stay involved with tribology and with the grease industry because I understand the vital role that it plays in machine component reliability.
Tim is a great example of what happens when a student's career path can be influenced via a program such as the tribology minor. The foundation and cornerstones that make up his education will always include an appreciation of tribology and its role in the world, as he pointed out. Let's think about that as we realize that students coming out of the Auburn program will have a strong desire to impact this business as their careers develop. They will also have a better reason to have a lifelong career in this field and contribute to its future long after we are gone. Their education makes them vested into lubrication. The scholarships that our students depend on are critical. A student's commitment to the minor essentially creates another full year in addition to a normal 4-year degree. This further cost burden challenges many students and their parents. Fortunately, from the very beginning, with the support we have received, we have been able to keep up in terms of scholarship offerings within the number of students currently in the minor. In anticipation of more students, scholarship funds will continue to be a major target of our fundraising efforts. As you can see by the array of scholarships currently available, the Tribology program is dependent on corporate vision, our industry's trade association, and individuals. If you have participated in any way to support our scholarship pool, please accept our heartfelt gratitude. We can hardly discuss scholarships without again recognizing the impact that our three primary technical and trade associations representing this industry have made. Awards from STLE, ILMA, and certainly last but not least, NLGI, have helped frame and assure the Tribology program's success during its infancy. This collective industry commitment has had a great impact on our students. During the recent open house, one of our more recognized students, Ms. Hannah Neufler, is shown here with current ILMA President Lon Fanning. Now that she has graduated and has a full view of the program from the student perspective and from its very beginning, we asked Hannah to speak to you today.
Hi, my name is Hannah Neufler. I have a major in polymer and fiber engineering and a minor in tribology. NLGI really had a vision for what could be when Auburn started developing this program several years ago. From the support of NLGI, it has definitely helped with sustaining not only my confidence in this program, but also the professors' confidence and is also the university administration confidence. I have also been the recipient of STLE and ILMA awards, and I believe that these awards wouldn't have been possible without NLGI's initial backing of the program. After all of this, after going through the program, I just want to say thank you for not only myself, but also the future students to come for your support and encouragement.
Hannah is one of our first students to be given an internship opportunity, and it was with one of NLGI's member companies. Lubrication engineers employed her last summer in their lab in Wichita, Kansas. Her observations, as you've heard, are insightful in that she is touching on why Auburn's Tribology minor will generate significant long-term business back to our industry. As already been pointed out, when tribology has been addressed in U.S. academia, it is more often than not research-driven and in a postgraduate environment. This approach does not address the fulfilling of a significant need that our industry is now facing, the replenishment of talent. Studies have shown that in tribology and other technical fields, a significant amount of the experienced workforce is within 5 to 10 years of retirement. By focusing on the field of tribology and lubrication science as a career choice and opportunity, we will change the paradigm of the last 40 years and bring about an exciting new era. By balancing the traditional academic need to generate research with now actually developing an undergraduate degree resource, there is a significant value for a variety of stakeholders, from lubricant raw material suppliers all the way through the lubricant consumers themselves. There are tangible benefits. Imagine degreed chemists working in your lab, having an undergraduate background that does not require 5 years of on-the-job training. Imagine degreed engineers working in a manufacturing environment with a tribology degree that can better relate to the value propositions that your products bring to their equipment. Imagine our industry's future, one where these dynamics improve on solving the puzzle of raising the value bar on a global scale for producers and consumers alike. We continue to need your help to make all this a reality. With our trade associations stepping up as they have, it's now time for individual and corporate support to rise to a new level. While we still need more scholarship funding, other key areas are rising in importance as the tribology minor moves forward. Faculty grants and laboratory equipment donations relevant to teaching R&D skills that are important to this industry are necessary to help sustain and grow the minor. Administrative needs will become more critical as the program advances. Next summer, we hope you consider Auburn Tribology students for your internship needs. Specific, targeted corporate research will always be important and certainly welcome. With educated talent that is now becoming available through the Auburn minor, the impact to any corporate team will be enhanced. When you have a team of trained personnel and knowing their strengths, this ultimately will allow you to position the right players to be in the right place at the right time. When this happens, great things can and usually will happen. Conversely, by not having the appropriately trained people in place for the task at hand can lead to disaster. That scenario works in business as it does in sports, and it only takes a second, as this next slide will demonstrate.
Well, I guess if this thing comes up short, he can field it and run it out. All right, here we go. 56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone.
One team was prepared with trained people, and the other not so much. It has been a privilege to be here today and address NLGI. Thank you all. Thank you so much.